So right now you have full strength, I suppose.
Yeah.
In terms of admission and all.
Yes. Complete B Farm, D Farm is complete.
And M-Farm is also there?
No, it is not there. We are proposing it from this year. So possibly we'll get the approval from PCI by the month end. So we'll have in pharmaceutical chemistry.
When I was in diploma in
Okay.
2001, then at the time I heard that they have started the B-Farm course. I'm planning for M-Farm course as well.
Okay.
At the time, it was
Okay.
yeah.
Actually,
It
we
is of
had M-Pharm earlier. In till 2013, we had M-Pharm in pharmacognosy.
okay. Now, right now, all the regulations have been changed, I suppose, because the
Yes.
friends are there, so everything is now online. The level of this PCI
PCI
registration and
license.
all
Yes.
licensing,
Yes.
lots
Everything
of
is online now. That's better now.
requirements we have to do. Yes, better. And transparency is there still.
Yes. Even the transparency is there. Even university is also working. Everything is digitalized now. From the evaluation, everything is digitalized now. So that's a good thing. And this time university has proposed online exams also for the students.
Ma'am, one request, bring the pharmacology stream as well of M-Pharm in your institution because it could be more in demand now. Reason
Yeah, we will propose it in future. We have that in our that thing in our mind, right? We are going to do it. Sir, once we have 50 participants, we shall start.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, I think the rest students will join shortly. We can start then.
Yeah, thank you. So, thank you, Dr. Pallavi, for inviting me for the webinar on recent developments in clinical research. So today,
Sir, it is actually a privilege that you have given us time for doing this session. So we should be thankful to you for taking out time. Yes, sir.
yeah, it's my privilege as well. Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. So I'll not take much time on this, and I'll start the session. Recent development in clinical
Sir, we'll have a brief introduction of you once. We'll have around 50 participants. We shall have your brief introduction and then you can start with the session,
please,
sir.
yeah, please.
If that's okay.
So myself, Ravi Kant, I'm working as a head clinical trial operation in Pharma India Private Limited. Earlier, I was associated with Vaccine Laboratories Limited, and later it was taken over by the Sun Pharma. I had worked in Vaccine as a research manager and worked in clinical trial operations and pharmacovigilance and medical writing. Before that, I was in academics and in Naipa Mohali and various institutions in Uttarakhand. So this is a brief background. Total experience, if we talk about, I have a 14+ year of experience of this academics as well as the clinical research industry. So from last 8 to 9 years, I involved in clinical research part of it. So should I start the session?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
So recent trends on recent development of clinical research. So I'll start with this few background of this pharmacy career. We know pharmacy pharmacy graduates and postgraduates and PhDs are there. So there are a lot of opportunities like academics, which are conventional one, pharmacists and hospital and clinical pharmacists, medical marketing opportunities. We have government jobs. We have as a DI. In regulatory affairs, we have the opportunities in the pharmaceutical companies, pharmaceutical industries, manufacturing, pharmacists are there, and quality assurance and quality control, sections are there in which we can participate significantly. Pharmaceutical associations and agencies are there, like IPA, Indian Pharmaceutical Association, which is one of the part, also contribute, few members in our regulatory bodies as well. Communications and knowledge, this is knowledge process outsourcing and CROs, KPOs and CROs are the new trends in the market. They involved in the clinical research and scientific research, secondary research, primary and secondary research both. Another one is research. This is not new one, conventional one, but new trends have been introduced in research area. So clinical research and pharmacovigilance are not so old, but not so new. But few new trends have been introduced. So what are the new trends in clinical research? So clinical research means clinical trial is one of the new trends in this. Pharmacovigilance is there. Market research. This market research is new. If we come to the Indian market and health economics and outcome research. I'll talk about this market research. So what we do in this market research, big companies or good companies, what they do before launching their product, they want to understand what is the market. So they want to understand what is the incidence or prevalence of this particular disease in this particular country or region or areas, and what are the competitors and what is their market share. So after analyzing all this, market, then they launch. They decide whether they have to launch their product into this therapeutic area or in this region or in this country, and what would be the planning to launch. So this whole concept is about market research. Health economics and outcome research, again a new one. So it's correlates between the efficacy and safety and its cost analysis as well. So we compare the two regimen and two treatments, their cost. So whether these two are cost effective, cost benefit analysis we do, and then we adopt this, which is cost effective regimen or treatment. So, but in present, in today's session, I have opted this pharmacovigilance and its Indian scenario in recent developments in clinical research. Why? There is a reason. Because pharmacovigilance is not so, new in India, but not so old. Because it's not developed as much as it could be. Yes, it was started in 1980s, around 30 years back in India. Still, it is in underdeveloped country. So not so developed. And the reason we will discuss why it has not been developed so far. The demand of this pharmacovigilance skilled, executives and person have been drastically increased due to this COVID pandemic as well. So, in today's session, we will discuss about what is the pharmacovigilance, then why pharmacovigilance is important, what is Indian regulatory doing for this pharmacovigilance, and what we can do in pharmacovigilance. So, what opportunities we have. So, we will, discuss all these, questions. So, start with the pharmacovigilance. What is this pharmacovigilance? As per the WHO, it is an activity which involving the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse event or any drug-related problems or issues. So I'll discuss with one example this definition. Let's say we have, we use proton pump inhibitors. So with the proton pump inhibitors, there is a one adverse event which is associated, that is gastrointestinal infection. Initially, this adverse event was not noticed as much.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
can you please increase your volume a bit? Actually, few attendees are complaining that they are not able to listen properly.
All right. Now audible?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So we will understand this definition, how we detect, how we assess, how we understand this, how we can prevent the adverse event or any drug-related issues. So we were discussing about the adverse event, one adverse event which is associated with the use of our proton pump inhibitor, and that is a gastrointestinal infections. So initially during the clinical development phase, this gastrointestinal infection was not observed so much. So it was not associated. It was considered it is not associated with the use of the proton pump inhibitors. For example, pantoprazole, omeprazole, rabeprazole. These are the proton pump inhibitors. But as the exposure has been increased, exposure of the patients for the drug proton pump inhibitors has been increased. So number of the cases has been increased. So now this was the signal, and there was a signal that yes, something is associated with the use of the proton pump inhibitor for this, gastrointestinal infection. So that's why, because of this, this gastrointestinal infection was detected. Now the cases were coming, and then analysis was started why GI infections are more with the use of our proton pump inhibitors. Then we analyzed, okay, our gastric acid act as a immune system for our GI system, and these proton pump inhibitor reduce this immune system and contribute for the gastrointestinal system. So we collect the data, we assess it, we analyze it, and then we now what we have started, if we are using the proton pump inhibitor, so we use it for the sometimes only, and physician prescribe, okay, take care of all these things. So we understand the these adverse events are associated with this particular drug. So this kind of activity we do in the pharmacovigilance. So it's a it's a complete a different science. We have to understand it. So what are the major aims of the pharmacovigilance? Early detection of any unknown safety, if it is there, detection of increase in frequency in clinical development phase. Suppose it is, rare adverse event which is associated with the use of drug. After post-marketing phase, this exposure will increase, and if frequency is increasing, so we can alarm to, means we can inform to the healthcare professionals and to the consumer accordingly that you have to take care for this adverse event if it occurs. Identification of any risk factor, any contradictions are there, so we have to aware our healthcare professionals and consumer about that. Quantifying risk, how much it can cause the risk, and whether benefit are more or risk are more, and accordingly we have to decide whether it should be continued to be marketed, or it should be withdrawn, or should be marketed with some precautions and all. Preventing patients from being affected unnecessarily. If it is not required, then that pharmaceutical products should not be used. So all these are the major aims of the pharmacovigilance. How this pharmacovigilance was started. Earlier, this was not, this activity we are not performing. So it's a question how it was started. So during World War II, we were using thalidomide. Thalidomide was a drug which was basically used as an hypnosedator. But during Second World War, it was using for the morning sickness in pregnant women. So because of the excessive use of this thalidomide, there was cases of photomelia. Photomelia is a congenital limb defect. So there was around 10,000 of cases, and you can see this photomelia limbs defect, and these individuals are still alive. Few individuals are still alive, and all this is because of the one drug thalidomide. So there was what was the problem with this drug? Because we were not analyzing the safety, we were just analyzing the efficacy. Yes, this drug is effective, okay, we should prescribe it. We were not aware about the safety, and this thalidomide disaster was the lesson to us. No, we have to assess the safety as well before marketing any drug into the market. After this lesson, we have started, safety assessment, and few more examples are there of withdrawal of the drug due to the safety reasons. One is your fenformin. It was causing lactic acidosis, which is one of the fatal condition if not treated. Rofecoxib, because of cardiovascular effect, it was withdrawal from the market. Viralipride and rosiglitazone are another examples, and there are a long list of the drug which has been withdrawn from the market due to their safety reasons. So it's indicating that yes, due to safety reasons, drug can be withdrawn from the market because safety is also our priority, not only the efficacy. And pharmacovigilance activity is just to assess the safety, not only before during the clinical development phase, even after the clinical development phase, in post-marketing phase. So why pharmacovigilance is important? If we are saying that in clinical phase we establish the safety in animal experiments and during clinical trial, we can defend ourselves. Yes, but still there are some questions whether these safety in animal experiments is relevant, whether this safety will be reproduced in the human beings as well. Again, there is a big question. Then safety which has been established in the clinical development phase, whether it is completed, because in clinical development phase, we have conducted a trial in a controlled manner, a limited population has been exposed. So whether this will give us a true picture about the safety of the drug, again, a big question. So we are not able to answer these questions that pre-marketing safety data is sufficient. So yes, in post-marketing phases, again, there are big questions, few questions are there, few concerns are there. There are some unexpected adverse events which were not, observed during the pre-marketing phase or clinical development phase. There are lots of drug interaction may occur. There are some risk factors, quality of life. We do not know about this, long-term efficacy and safety. We are and another one is cost assessment. So these are post-marketing concerns as well, which create a situation that pharmacovigilance is very, very important. So few facts are there. I'll discuss the few facts why pharmacovigilance is important. Around out of 10 of the causes of mortality, adverse drug reaction is one of them. And it's very, very important to understand, because of the adverse event, if there is a mortality and it is avoidable. So if it is avoidable, we should avoid it and we should reduce this mortality rate. Another one is your hospital admission. In some countries, almost more than 10% of hospital admissions are due to the drug-related events. And again, a big number. And 10% of hospital admission is a significant number. It will also cause the cost burden as well. So if we talk about the economic impact, around $200 million expenses are due to drug-related morbidity and mortality. Again, a big burden on our economy as well. So these adverse events. So now I'll talk about the National Pharmacovigilance Program of India. It's a brief history and how it's developed and what we are doing and what we can do. So this National Pharmacovigilance Program in India was started in around 1980s, and it was limited to few institutions and practicing doctor of these big institutions. So it was not as much effective as it could be. So later on in 2004, Central Regulatory Agency has started this or taken over this National Pharmacovigilance Program and started it with a proper manner. So now they have prepared some zonal centers. So peripheral pharmacovigilance centers are there, then regional pharmacovigilance centers are there, then zonal centers, and all these zonal centers, all these centers, pharmacovigilance centers, in collaboration of each other, they are performing the pharmacovigilance activities nationwide to monitor the adverse drug reaction which is related to any pharmaceutical product or any medicine, to review the periodic safety update report, which is known as PSUR, and it is required to be submitted by the marketing authorization of the pharmaceutical company to defend the safety and efficacy of their marketed product. To provide recommendation, this program also provides the recommendation to the licensing authority on the matter like what changes should be required in the product label, that is our package insert, and product should be suspended from the market, it should be withdrawn from the market, or it should be withdrawn from the market like that, or it should be continued with some precautions like that. And to liaise with the international regulatory bodies working in the field of pharmacovigilance, if because drugs not confined to only one country, they also come to another countries as well. So to provide information to end users are consumers related to the safe use of the medicines as well. So what are the prime objective of this national pharmacovigilance program? So initially there was a perception that only doctors are required to report this. No, this is a misperception. If any adverse event is there, we can report it to any pharmacist, nurse, or other healthcare, or these other healthcare also can report if they have observed an adverse event or any drug related safety issues. Another misperception was there only serious adverse events are required, or adverse events which are associated with the new drug or new chemical entity are required to be reported. But no, it is not like that. Even non-serious adverse event, which is already well established in the package insert as well, is also required to be reported, because it will increase the frequency. If it is reported more, so it will increase the frequency as well. We will get the new information. So all the non-serious or serious, whether it is established adverse event or not, non-established event, we have to report all, whether it is a quality issues, whatever, any drug related problem is required to be reported, whether it is misuse, abuse, all the things. Patient confidentiality. Earlier, it was thought that no, patient confidentiality will not be maintained. But in pharmacovigilance system, we maintain the patient confidentiality to our best level. Recently, our Indian government has launched a toll-free number to report the adverse events to the regulatory bodies, and through this regulatory bodies can provide that safety information related issues to the respective pharmaceutical companies. So yes, government is working on this pharmacovigilance activities, and gradually we are moving towards the well-developed pharmacovigilance system in our India. Yes, it is under development phase still. Now, who can report about this adverse event? So, patient or its caretaker, consumer, anyone can report it. So there is no regulation. Only doctor or healthcare professionals can, report. Healthcare professionals, anyone, either it is physician, dentist, pharmacist, nurses, anyone. They can, if they have observed the adverse event, they can report it. Manufacturers and authorities as well. Authorities are licensing authorities, and if any business partners are there, they can also report this adverse event to a regulatory body or to the respective pharmaceutical company or marketing authorization holder. Precisely, we use the term marketing authorization holder. Now, to whom we have to report it? So we have to report it to the healthcare professional, to marketing authorization, anyone. Pharmacovigilance centers, we have the pharmacovigilance center, so the consumer can directly report these adverse event or drug-related issues to the pharmacovigilance centers or to the respective marketing authorization holders or manufacturers and regulatory bodies as well. This is the drug reaction form, which is laid down by the Indian regulatory body. So it is available on their website of PVPI, Pharmacovigilance Program of India. So it is available. We can download it and we can fill it and we can report it to regulatory body or to the marketing authorization holder if we require it. So these things are available. Now I'll discuss a little bit, in detail about this pharmacovigilance activity. Yes, we have gone through what is the importance and to whom we have to report, what we can report. Yes. Now, how we do this pharmacovigilance activity in our pharmaceutical industries. So I'll give you a brief overview, not as much in detail. So as per the definition, there was a detection, there was assessment, there was understanding, and then there was a prevention. So this is as per the definition. So similarly, this pharmacovigilance system, divides into, into the steps to complete all these activity as per the definition. So to detect it, to detect any adverse event, there should be proper collection system of the adverse event or drug-related issues. So how we can collect the adverse event or drug-related issues? We can collect spontaneously from the consumer or from the healthcare professionals. We can collect all this information from available in the literature sources. It can be from the clinical trial. If any clinical trial has been conducted, so we can get it from the clinical trial as well. Regulatory has received the safety information from consumer or healthcare professionals, so regulatory can also provide it, or licensing partners or business partners. So we have a different sources and we have to inform all these different sources, and we have to collect the adverse event or drug related issues from all these sources. Now we will collate them, means we will assess them and we will analyze them. Whether this is a new adverse event which is associated, whether this event or drug related issue is really because of the use of this pharmaceutical product or not, or some other factors are involved. So we analyze it and then we communicate to the regulatory body and update our prescribing information or package insert to convey to the healthcare professionals if any prevention is required, if any precautions is required. So before that, we report all these, ICSR, we call it ICSR, individual case safety reports, to the regulatory bodies. So we submit it, we amend the prescribing information accordingly if required. We review our marketing status, whether we have to withdraw it or we have to suspend it. We have to inform to the licensing partner. We inform to the regulatory bodies, even worldwide. And if any queries are there, so we have to respond the queries as well. So thereby we try to prevent these adverse event or drug related issues. This is a little bit more deep. So we receive the case, that is individual case safety report, case of individual patients. Then triage, we perform the triage. So in industry, triage means whether this case is serious or non-serious. On the basis of the seriousness, timelines differ. So if case is serious, within 15 days, we have to report the detailed analysis to the regulatory body. And if it is non-serious, then depend on the countries. Some few countries required in 60 days, few countries required in 90 days, few countries required in 30 days. If we talk about India, India required non-serious cases within 30 days from the date of visit. Then that data would be entered in our database. We have a software, so we process every companies use the software to process these cases. So that is called data entry. Then medical reviewer, medicals analyze that case, and then there is a quality control process as well, whether the information we are providing up to date. It is that we check and then we submit it to the regulatory accordingly. So these are individual case safety reports, which is required to be submitted as per the regulatory within the stipulated timeline. And these timelines and guidelines are vary country to country. After this, we also submit the periodic safety update reports. And these are also known as aggregate reports. So what we do, we collate all these data which we have submitted individually of individual patients, we collate it specific period like 6 months or a year, and then again we analyze them and again we submit it to the regulatory bodies in the form of PSU or periodic safety update reports, PEDR or other forms, as regulatory required, like addendum to clinical overview, etc. There are different kinds of reports. So these two kinds of activities we perform. One is our submission processing of the ICSR, individual case safety reports, and then another one is your periodic safety update report. So these two basic activities we perform in our pharmacovigilance. Now, this is some statistics of adverse drug reaction reporting in India. So earlier there was, only one reporting rate was there. As time passed on and awareness is increasing, we can see in 2015 it was 40 and number of reports are almost 50,000, whereas in 2013 it was just half of this 2015. In terms of, if we compare with the population has not significantly increased compared to these ADR reports. So reporting now day by day is increasing, but still it is underreported. Still it is underreported. So what are the challenges we are facing, or what are the issues in India for this pharmacovigilance? Underreporting of this adverse event. We are not aware that we have to report these adverse event to the regulatory bodies or to the respective marketing authorization holders. If we will not report it, it will not come into the picture and we will not be able to take any precautionary measures. So it is very, very important to report any adverse event. Again, a big issue is lack of medical expertise in drug administration and adequate skilled resources. We are lacking. We study this pharmacovigilance as a chapter in our curriculum, but it's a completely a different science. We need, more emphasis on this pharmacovigilance. So it's a completely a different science. And skilled executives or persons are very less in India, and demand is increasing. Again, inadequate nationwide awareness, very less. We are less aware that we have to report the adverse event or drug related issues. And again, one orthodox is there, only new, if new drug is there, then we have to report, or only serious adverse event we have to report. No, we have to come out of this orthodox. We have to report whether it is serious or non-serious, whether it is old drug or new drug. We have to report it to the regulatory bodies or to the pharmacovigilance centers or to the respective marketing authorization. So what will happen with this? If we will do, it will create more jobs as well. Because if the reports would be more, so more would be the requirement of the skilled person. So it it will create the demand as well. So please make aware the society as well. If any adverse event is there or drug related issues are there, please report it to the respective bodies. So there is a very good, quotation is there. Dying from a disease is sometimes unavoidable. Yes, we understand. But dying from an adverse event which is avoidable is not accepted. We should not accept this. And being the healthcare, professionals, we should not accept it. We should work on this. So with this, what we can do in pharmacovigilance, we should enhance and facilitate a culture of learning about this pharmacovigilance, which we are lacking in our, in our academics. That yes, we are lacking, and we should start it in the, early phase of our healthcare students, even in their graduation part and even their post-graduation. In post-graduation, I suppose it should be a separate specialization because we are lacking the skilled persons in our India. And because of this COVID pandemic, there is a drastic increase, or requirements of this pharmacovigilance skilled person in India, because India is going to be a hub of this pharmacovigilance. Because we Indians understand the English language very well. We are hardworking, and so we can perform well as compared to other Asian countries like China and all. So we can do much better, and our healthcare system is also very good, not so poor. The problem is the lacking of the awareness and the skill. So this was about, if you have any questions or any suggestions, yeah, you are most welcome. Thank you from my side.
So there is a question from a student.
Yes, please.
Kapil, he's asking how much time we want for pharmacovigilance of any drug to say that the drug is fully safe or not. I think he's want to say that how much time is required to say whether the drug is safe or not,
yeah,
with the help of pharmacovigilance.
Fine. So pharmacovigilance activity, you are asking about the time, means in how much time we can say now this drug is safe and we have to stop, or in another words, we should stop the pharmacovigilance activity for this particular drug. This pharmacovigilance activity is a lifelong activity. It cannot be stopped. However, regulatory asked to submit the safety reports up to 4 years. Still, regulatory asked to submit these safety reports beyond the 4 year as well. You would be surprised that there is the requirement to submit the safety reports of this paracetamol tablets. It's a very old drug. Still, pharmaceutical companies are submitting the safety reports of this paracetamol. Very old drug. It is well established. It is very safe. Still, we are submitting. The reason is because, as time is moving on, science is developing. So new drugs are also coming. So now this new drug, how it will interact with the old drug, we never know. And there is a changes in the genetic system as well. So genetics are also changing. So these new genetics, how they will perform, or how drug this paracetamol will perform, or old drug will perform in new genetics, or in changed genetics, or new generation, again a big question. So because of all these reasons, because we cannot define now this drug is fully safe, we can use it anywhere, and now safety is explained very well, and now no new safety information will come, so we cannot say at any point of time. Because of this reason, pharmacovigilance activity is a never stopping activity. It's continue lifelong, or we can say throughout the life cycle. The precise word is throughout the life cycle of that pharmaceutical product. Till the product would be into the market, the safety assessment will continue. And because of this reason, pharmacovigilance activities are required, and there would be requirements of the manpower as well. I suppose you would be satisfied this. Any more questions? Hello.
Samiksha, you can ask your question.
Samiksha, unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, sir. I'm Samiksha Verma. So here is my question: is that are there any chances for us B.Pharm students to get a job in pharmacovigilance? Like I have asked around with some more experienced people who work in pharmacovigilance. They told me that most of the vacancies require M.Pharm students or freshers. So are there any scope for us B.Pharm students?
Yes, Samiksha. Yes, pharmaceutical industries, those are involved in the pharmacovigilance activities. Preferably, they want the PG students, especially in pharmacology or clinical pharmacy, specializations. But few industries are also there who can adopt the B.Pharm graduates as well. Yes, for B.Pharm students, it would be challenging as compared to the postgraduate students. The reason is why pharmaceutical companies, preferring the postgraduate students, because in postgraduate, because of their specialization, the difference in the knowledge to understand the disease and events and their association would be more as compared to the B.Pharm graduates. If you are, means if you have a good knowledge, even during your B.Pharm phase or after B.Pharm phase, and you can qualify the interview, definitely company will opt you. So it's depend on your knowledge, how much knowledge you have.
So one more question I have.
Yes,
What are
yes.
the prime locations for these pharmacovigilance, companies? Like every in the states, there are prime locations for each job. So what is the prime location for pharmacovigilance in India?
Yeah. If we talk about the North India, so our Delhi NCR is the prime location, and preferably in your Gurgaon region. Lots of companies are there. Another part in North India is your Chandigarh, where pharmacovigilance companies are there, CROs are there. Apart from this, if we move to the central one, so in Mumbai and Pune, in Maharashtra, there are lots of companies. Even in South India, Bangalore is a hub of all these activities, all these companies. So in these three regions, you will find lots of companies and a lot of opportunities. If you are nearby to these, and if it is comfortable to these locations, then you will get the opportunities. But because of the
Thank you
COVID
so much,
pandemic,
sir.
you can also get the remote, working options as well. Means work from home.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So there is one more question.
Yes.
If an ADR occurs during the phase 1 of the clinical research, will we still call it ADR? Because during the first phase, the drug is tested on the normal individuals and ADRs are defined for the therapeutic doses.
Sorry, pardon. Can you repeat the last line?
So, because during the first phase, the drug is tested on the normal individuals and ADRs are defined for the therapeutic doses.
All right. So you are asking, event has occurred in our phase 1. So whether we will call it ADR or not.
Yes.
Right. Fine. Yeah. Yes, it's depend. We will call it, if any event has been occurred during the clinical development phase, we do not call it ADR, we call it event, adverse event. There are two terms, adverse event and adverse drug reactions. So adverse drug reaction, we will call it when the causal association between the event and drug has been proved. Means this adverse event is only because of the use of this particular therapeutic product or medicinal product. If it has been proved, then that event would be called as adverse drug reaction. Otherwise, that adverse event will be known as only adverse event because the causal association is not proved. So at that time, any event which has been occurred during the clinical development phase, whether it is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or phase 4 as well, those will be known as the adverse event only, not ADR. Hello.
So
I
there is one more
suppose
question.
Yeah.
One
Is
more
it clear
question
to
from
you?
It's from our faculty member.
Yeah.
During the development of any new molecule, is there any guidelines for ensuring the safety of that molecule?
Yes. All the regulatory guidelines, they have laid down that how we have to assess. So during the preparation of the protocol, we have to assess the safety parameters as well. And if any safety concerns will raise, so we have to report it to the regulatory bodies as well within the stipulated timeline. If we talk about the India, if any serious adverse event occur, so within 14 14 calendar days, we have to report it to the regulatory bodies. A detailed analysis report we have to submit. So yes, definitely there are guidelines from the regulatory bodies we have to follow even during the clinical development phase about the safety reasons. And even we have to constitute this, your drug and safety committee boards, those committees or those boards assess the safety during the clinical development phase, whether we have to continue the clinical development phase or we have to withdraw it, we have to terminate it right away. So they take the decision. So there are the guidelines which is laid down by our regulatory bodies, and we have to follow it. We cannot deviate from those.
Thank you, sir. I suppose there are no more questions.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for sparing this much time for us and guiding our students at this point of time. It was really a very good session, and I think the students must have been benefited by all the lecture as well as the answers and the queries they had. So thank you very much, sir, once again. So I think, is there any question remaining, Azhar sir? I see a hand raised by Samiksha.
I think.
Yes,
Samiksha, do you
ma'am.
want? Yes, please ask.
So I wanted to ask what is the difference between a drug safety and pharmacovigilance?
What is the difference between drug safety and pharmacovigilance? These two are the synonyms we can use. In in many companies they use the term like drug safety executives, drug safety managers. So these two are synonyms. But pharmacovigilance is the precise word. We should use it.
Okay, I think, Samiksha, have you received the answer now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much once again. It was really a wonderful session, and we had a good time listening to you, and we hope we'll get many more opportunities in future. So thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. It's my privilege to be part of this webinar.
Thank you, sir.
And